Steve Tober, sideline chatter with Art Polakowski, one of the veteran sports writers in New Jersey, out to see Milburn and Montclair. And Art, the Greater Newark tournament, some great history in that tournament going back to School Stadium when it was a statewide tournament. Harry Chattel just passed away recently. Morristown winning it in the 60s, and the great Montclair teams under Clary Anderson. You've seen some great games in this tournament over the years.
Yeah, and it certainly was special when it was a statewide tournament, not just for the fact that it attempted to bring in the 16 best teams in New Jersey, but also because they played 9-inning games, which made it attractive for teams to travel a long way because it was so different than high school baseball is perceived as. And there were some great teams from Cherry Hill, I remember, playing up here. Haddonfield was up there in years recent enough for me to have been there. And, it has that kind of history. When it became the Essex County tournament, it doesn't quite have that kind of luster anymore.
Do you remember some of the days at School Stadium, though? With the ground rule doubles, I think, down the left field, and there were some certain ground rules in the stadium that gave it a bit of an aura.
Yeah, I know the one year, the most famous game ever, the Union Parsippany game, in which you had actually only three major leaguers involved: Al Ciannarini and Elliot Maddox on the Union side, and Richie Zisk on the Parsippany side. Even though Larry Pyle was the Parsippany star there, and the fact that Larry didn't make the major leagues was probably an upset. But that game, they had partitioned off part of the left field bleachers to call it a ground rule double. But I'm not sure. I saw about 4 or 5 finals there, Steve. I'm not sure if they did that in any other year. They may have done other things in other years, and it might have had something to do with the fact that Pyle and Zisk could hit the ball into the bleachers just about every time.
You saw some great coaches, Gordy Lamatti and Clary Anderson, and so many of them through the years. Who was your favorite coaches in the GNT?
Well, Mr. Lamatti is one of the great people to ever coach New Jersey baseball, I'd have to put him. I really didn't know Clary Anderson that well, and I knew Harry Chattel, and if you had my choices, who I thought was the nicer person, I would say Gordy Lamatti.
Looking at today with Montclair and Milburn, new coach at Milburn, Brian Chapman, Ron Gavazzi, who you know at Montclair from Bailey Ellard before they closed. Interesting game. The GNT today, again, Essex County only now since 1973, but some intriguing baseball.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one. I saw Milburn play once. This is the second year I'm not covering baseball. I was with the Independent Press, as you know, the viewers for 44 years, and I suffered a stroke in January 2010, and they did not want me to return to work, even though I wanted to. And so last baseball season was the first one I missed. I saw Milburn about 3 times last year. I've only seen him once this year at Chatham. They've got a nice ball club. I know that. Brian Chapman is a great baseball guy, and he's doing a real good job here. And Montclair, I guess, has been successful ever since Ron got there. So, this should be an evenly matched game between two quality teams.
Well, Art Polakowski, thanks for stopping by for I like taking a trip down memory lane with you whenever the opportunity arises. And enjoy the baseball, enjoy the rest of the season, and many more for you.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
Art Polakowski for New Jersey Hot Shots and Sideline Chatter. I'm Steve Tober.